So it sounds like this isn't just for people who would be considered achievers, but even more so for those who've always wanted to be achievers, for those who have, I guess, through the beliefs of others, internalized their own limiting beliefs.
Well, it's a great point. When I say achievers, I don't necessarily mean those who have accomplished. I mean those who are in the direction of accomplishing, because I believe principle of vibration, everything is always in motion, everything always changes, which means as long as your intention is there, you're always moving in that direction, you're an achiever.
The introduction of this program may actually cause some to refocus their attention, right? Someone who has, for their entire lives, believed that they could not do, or were limited to what was available to them.
Again, we all experience this world through our 5 basic senses, and we all develop an understanding of what we know through those same senses. I remember being, I think it was 96, as a matter of fact, when we had that huge storm in the north. We had, I think, close to 30 inches of snow in Philadelphia alone. And I remember it because I was in Costa Rica. And I was down there learning Spanish because I wanted to be able to learn Spanish, be able to go back and finish my college degree. And so I've always been trying to achieve, working, not necessarily going in the right direction, but working towards achieving. And I remember being there, and I remember going to a nightclub. And Flavia, there was this young lady that just happened to be sitting across the bar that I didn't really even notice until I just happened to turn. I'm with a couple friends, and I turn and I see this young lady, and she looks over at me, and I look over at her. But here I am, I think at 24, or maybe even younger than that, maybe about that age, where I had acne, something I had all my life, so I was always having this issue with self-confidence and worried about people looking at it, possibly a scar or anything else. So I was very paralyzed with regards to the acne. Didn't really know how to handle or to deal with or to speak to girls. I didn't know what to say because I find myself to be on that neurodivergent track there and not necessarily processing that information as quickly. But here I look over and I see this beautiful young lady, and I see her start to approach me. And she's walking around the bar, and my heart rate starts to pump. What am I going to say to her? I'm going to be embarrassed. I don't know Spanish. She probably doesn't know English. I'm going to be sitting here. She's going to get closer, recognize that I'm not this handsome guy. So I'm going through this whole thing of fight or flight, deciding whether I'm going to leave or not. And as she approaches me, she comes closer and closer, and she says something to me. And I automatically say to her, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. And she says to me, I'm speaking English. Now, the information that my brain was giving to me told me that I will not be able to understand her. Therefore, the logic and reasoning that should have been taking place in my brain of processing what she was saying completely shut down. We speak of fight or flight. We're animals, for example. They had to figure out very quickly, are they going to leave and run, or are they going to stay and try to fight? A rabbit's going to try to figure out whether it should try to remove itself from where it is, again, or stay. And typically when they do that, they'll defecate, so they'll lose their lunch. You gotta lighten the load. They'll urinate, but they'll also go through this thing where blood goes out of their brain and goes to all the extremities of their body, preparing that body to be able to catapult itself into action. And that's what we as humans do as well. We drop our blood from our brain, which means we're automatically stupider when that situation arises, and so we don't really even listen in the first place. But I think to a great extent, that is what this is all about, controlling how your amygdala responds to situations. That's a huge part of it, and understanding the fact that the threats that I'm seeing around me, or any observation that I have, I'm going to take control of those, and I'm going to direct the course of this event rather than letting it direct my course. And so having experienced that, I really recognized with this young lady, Flavia, that in fact my fears were running awry and were directing my course of action. Didn't change much, but I recognized the fact that it had the ability to do so.